A lot of gynecologists have beards, actually.
Every geologist in the world ever has a beard.
No, not geologists, gynecologists.
I know.
These rocks are very interesting. They just happen to be inside a vagina.
In 2012, most video game news seems to revolve around America. Well, to that.
We stand for Queen,
Country, and video games. BRB UK.
Worse teeth,
Better accents.
Hello, and indeed, ahoy hoy, and welcome to BRB UK Episode 7. I am Dan, one of your hosts from London, England, and it's yet again a dubious pleasure to be podcasting with the two ingrates that I brought with me, one of whom is also from London. It's Tim. Tim, I've got a question for you.
No.
Have you toileted yet?
Yes.
You have toileted. Did you have fun?
Not too much that it was not functional.
It wasn't worth pissing home about.
No.
Good. That went well.
Yeah, that was nearly funny, I think.
It was nearly funny, but we managed to avoid it at the last minute.
Heat. It is ridiculously warm outside.
So anyway, you've probably noticed an accent, and that's John. Say hello, John.
Hello.
Hello, how are you, sir?
I am fine.
Yeah? What have you been up to?
Wondering if game's dead yet, and now they are.
They are very, very, very dead, game. And it's a shame, actually. I mean, the writing was on the wall last week where they were like, yeah, we're going to delist ourselves from the stock exchange and probably going to be
try and sell
away.
everything really quickly.
Yeah, well, I must say, I did do a tactical use my trading credit and all of my points on Sunday.
Yes, I did that a week or so ago.
And now you can't use them if you've got them.
Even if you have trading credit on a game card, you cannot use the funds on that.
It's been a very messy morning. First thing this morning, they just said, yep, we're in administration, that's
Then the CEO went, do you know what? I'm going to resign.
Is that the same CEO, right? Is this the same CEO who's called Ian Shepherd, who said,
yes.
The media's been reporting some very weird misinformation. They're saying all these kind of weird things that Game are going to shut down. And now that they're in administration, he's like, yeah, bye!
You see, they hired the wrong Shepherd. If they hired Commander Shepherd, this wouldn't be a problem, would
if
it?
If they hired the other Shepherd, they might have had Mass Effect 3 in.
Yeah, which is kind of ironic, actually. I hadn't thought how ironic that was, that a company headed up by a bloke called Shepherd.
You do know they actually did call him Commander Shepherd, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Although some of the employees in the Brent Cross store are a bit like an Elcor, like, hello, do you want a game?
Would you like buy pre-owned?
Disappointed.
Would you like buy strategy guide? Would you like trade-in game? Would you like guarantee?
Elcor are my favourite video game race ever.
Are brilliant.
They are brilliant.
Fantastic.
Anyway, 270 shops have gone. This is the bad news. 270 shops have gone. 4 of them in Glasgow, which meant obviously Glasgow had far too many.
But although how many in Glasgow have shut?
4.
So there's still another 392 still opening.
In a 1 square mile
Good.
radius type thing
But
from your house.
There is a lot of shops. There is in East Kilbride, which is near here, one of the games is gone and the game station that is there has stayed open. So they're obviously kind of doing game station divides in some places.
Controversial.
Probably depending on which one traded.
Is it just being rebellious? Is it just like refusing to close down? Has it actually been
just
closed?
Like, you ain't taking me alive!
We're gonna sell games.
For the first time, GameStation. What? What?
That's a cross between GameStation and Jason Statham, I think.
Yeah, exactly. GameStation is now cheaper than your girlfriend. Actually, in true fact, it would cost you less money to probably buy the whole of GameStation and take your girlfriend out for a night.
But let's be nice for it, because there are a lot of people that have lost their jobs today, and we can only wish all of you guys the best of luck.
Yeah, well, I think, as John said, 270 stores have already gone, and 2,000 jobs have gone.
That's 2,000 people that don't have money this week, kind of thing. I mean, that's not good.
And in North London, where I reside, where Gippo Manor is.
Gippo Manor. Did
Gippo
you really
Manor.
just say that?
Yeah. Chateau de Gib.
It's only one step away from Gippo Manor as well, I had, but obviously it's the shinier
The red's cheap.
side.
And we get through a lot of fake tan. Right, so... But
That's another demographic offended. Let's press on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good.
no.
How many more have I got to go this episode?
I'd say just another 3 or 4, and then we'll probably get
And then that's
Sweet.
probably everyone
I can do
going.
that in 50 minutes.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah,
Do it in
so
50 seconds.
no, Gippos aren't easy, mighty man. They'll just stab you.
Oh God, he's making it worse.
They'll just stab you in the face instead.
No, carry on with games. Talk about games. People don't care when you offend games.
Yeah, so no, but seriously, I mean, in North London, the North Finchley branch, which is my nearest branch, is closed. High Barnet's closed. Southgate, I believe,
hold
is
on.
closed.
Don't read a whole 270 list starting from your local area, working your way outwards. We don't have time for that, Captain. All right.
The only 2 stores that are left in North London are the one in Edgware and one in Enfield, and that's your lot for the whole of North London. And it's a real shame. I mean, and the way they were shut down was really unusual. Since after work, I thought, okay, I'll just see if my local game's still open. And like, they had a sign up in the window saying we're shut. I could see the staff members milling around inside, and they kind of motioned me in just to have a chat.
Do you know at this stage whether the Oxford Street store's closed?
The Oxford Street store is still open, but Game Station's flagship store in Birmingham is shut.
Yeah, but the way they were told was really odd, since the first thing they knew that they were being shut down was when their tills suddenly stopped working at 2.
Was that mid-shift?
Like, it was just literally just in the middle. It was just like, it's not doing anything.
Yeah, no, seriously, it was like they were processing sales, and all of a sudden the plug was pulled.
That is awful. That's an awful way to do business.
And then they got a phone call 15 minutes later saying, yeah, we're shutting you down.
But the thing is, a lot of staff have apparently not been getting the memo, like, that's come from the head office saying that some stores are being shut down. And it's just like, why haven't we been told about this? And you just get told, yeah, you're going home. Away you go.
Yeah. So, there
terrible,
we go.
terrible.
But sincerely, I mean, it does kind of make my blood boil that there's so many trolls out there going, oh, good riddance, shut up,
Yeah,
all right?
but to be fair, like, as much as I don't like to see all these people out of a job, and as much as I don't like to see this actually happen, from the sounds of it, from the way they just were just conducting business then by not even communicating to their employees that they're going to be out of a
that's
job,
pretty shite.
Then we can say at least good riddance to the people that were behind the business practices here. Let's hope someone else comes in.
Well, no, but it wasn't their management that did that. That is PwC, who are the administrators, would have made that decision, because they are effectively now the management board.
But there are a lot of business practices which they now have the chance, if they do survive, to completely revise and start from scratch.
Well, I mean, it makes a lot of sense for them essentially just to change the signage on the shops if they're being bought out, because that way they're not spending the money to rehire staff, for example. It should just be a name change and off you go.
For sale, one gaming company preferably likes the colour purple.
Yeah, something like that. But, I'm genuinely sad, and I don't think it's a good thing for gamers in the UK. I really, really don't. I think it's a real shame to lose such a high street presence. And I'm genuinely gutted for them. I know Game and their staff get a lot of bad press, but I can say without reservation, all the staff in my local branch in North Finchley were genuinely excellent, very knowledgeable, very friendly, very good. So it's a real sad shame that people like that are going to be out of a job. I really, really do. Little tears starting in my eye. That's a couple of, that was my human contact for the week as well. That was depressing.
You're not going to see any more humans anymore.
He crawls out of Gippo Manor going, where are you people? I want to talk to the people.
In all fairness, mate, I can move the caravan if I want to, alright?
I'm so sorry, everybody. But then again, Gypsy Weddings can do it. I guess we can get away with it this once. We should move on and try and offend some other demographic. We can offend some Americans in the next segment. We can possibly offend, I don't know,
raccoons.
We could offend some birds.
I will be giving out prizes to pictures of Gippo Dan on the forums. Just draw a picture of Gippo Dan, and I'll give you a t-shirt.
So basically, me, but in a top hat and a shell suit is what we're after.
Funniest picture wins a gaming t-shirt.
So there we go. So anyway, I hope you bear with us. I promise you the show will get better-ish. And we're going to burble a bit about Assassin's Creed 3, because Tim went to a preview and had a spit roast. Racoon City, Kid Icarus, and a bit more besides. So I hope you enjoy the rest of episode 7 of BRB UK. So, Tim this week went to something that was very exciting and a game that has literally got all of the British Isles and former colonies up in arms for good and bad reasons, and that is Assassin's Creed 3. So I was very envious that you got to go to this, mate. What did you see and how awesome was it?
It was fairly awesome, I have to say, actually. I mean, they don't usually show, Ubisoft don't usually show a lot of their games, and especially their bigger games like Assassin's Creed and stuff, they don't show you off this early, generally. But I think they're a bit further down the development cycle than they normally are at this stage, because they've been working on this one since, like, they had, by the sounds of it, they didn't say quite as much, but it looks like they've had the senior team, as they called it, or the A team work, not B.A. Baraka's A team.
That would be so awesome. Peel the fool, don't use him blades.
But no,
but there were no planes in that time either, so it would have been good.
Exactly, it'd be fine. You ain't got me no plane because they don't exist.
I don't need to drink no milk.
Anyway, the point you're trying to make is that they kind of have like a senior team and a kind of B team who have worked on stuff like Revelations and Brotherhood and that.
Exactly, and it's the kind of A team with some new technology coming out with this game. And it's their new engine, which is, I'm not sure if it was custom made for this or it's just they made it with this in mind, and it's going to be, I think they're going to be using it in other games going forward.
Maybe a bit like UbiArt was kind of made with Rayman Origins.
And this is on a sort of engine called Anvil Next, which is their next kind of big thing that they're touting and stuff. And I'm not sure if this was the first showing of it, but it was definitely the first thing I'd seen of it, basically.
Because I have to say, having had a look at the videos, which, as far as I can work out, are largely in-game footage, Assassin's Creed 3 looks stunning.
Well, we got to see there was a presentation in general and 3 videos that we were shown. There was one that was kind of a pre-concept thing with little miniatures and it was just an idea of the feel of things. Then there was a slightly more developed thing where they'd actually sort of pre-vised up a kind of like a target render, as it were, type thing. I mean, like, this is the target of what we're going for in the game, and it's just the video, but it's the video of what they want to make the gameplay do, kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we got to see a full 10-minute or so gameplay trailer. And it was interesting to see the differences between what they visualised it being and what they actually did. Like, because he's an American Indian in this one, they actually had scalping in it originally.
Oh, that would.
But then
awesome.
They realised with the type of American Indian he didn't scalp, so it didn't fit in with the story. So
that would have been the most extreme version of blending in with the crowd. That you scalp them and then assume their hair in. That would be mental.
But so they've taken that out, and likewise they had a kind of chain that you fired out and then could pull people in, yank people in with. But you could also hoist them up onto trees. Now they've still got that mechanic, but they've taken it out, and it's like a rope dart that you throw out rather than a chain and stuff like that. So they've developed a few different things.
Speaking about trees and stuff, right? How does climbing through trees work? That's what I want to know.
That's one thing. That's one thing we expressed a kind of concern over when we first saw the footage. And having seen what they've done and having seen them explain it, I'm now not worried at all. In fact, I'm quite excited about that, because what it's done is instead of having the uniform kind of rigid jumping from building to building, you're now kind of have to puzzle your way through the environment a bit more. It's a bit more of a challenge to go through and stuff like that. But at the same time, it didn't look, obscenely difficult to make it obtuse or kind of annoying sort of thing. It was basically...
I don't mind it. I think actually it's a good change of pace for the Assassin's Creed series.
Where you've got the verticality and the climbing comes in rock climbing, which they put in a lot of animations for now as well, because you do proper rock climbing movements, and that looks quite good when you're doing that. But then you've got the sort of the traversal that you just do across rooftop now kind of takes place amongst trees, and you're jumping from tree to tree and seeing the animations and not so much just the animations of the character, but the way that the environment responded to him running through the environment as well, the way the trees kind of took the burden of him as he went on it and flicked up and like a flutter of snow came off them as they moved and stuff like that, and it looked really impressive and really good. And where the new stuff comes in as well is the fact that you can do the leaps of faith into moving vehicles. and moving
cool.
targets.
But only if they have hay bales in the back.
Yeah, no, but interestingly...
As we all know, that's what you can fall from any height, just as long as there's hay down, you're all good.
But interestingly, that's mainly, apart from when you're jumping in a cart and there might be hay in the back of that, that's mainly changed in this game, because you're now not jumping into hay, you're mainly jumping into snow.
So could you say that Assassin's Creed has had its heyday?
Oh.
What? Oh, come on. Oh, it's not that bad a joke.
When we were worried about like the environments in urban settings as well, because we thought, well, there's not many buildings and they're quite spaced out in America and stuff. Because they have thought about that, and they've put in like street furniture that links things up, or trees where you can get across from one building to the next. But then also the other thing they've added is that you can go into the environments in chases as well. And they had one where it actually like cut through someone's house and there were people in it, and you were jumping in one window and jumping out the other, and that looked to add a real like other dynamic to the chases and made it look exciting and looked natural enough that you were like, why the hell did I spend all those time on the rooftops?
yeah, because that for me was always something that was quite jarring about the previous games in the Assassin's Creed series, was that a building was essentially a big block that you climbed over.
Unless it had a big hole in the middle, in which case it was
and a glowy, glittery door, which I always thought would have been a giveaway.
Which, to
myself.
be fair, is part of the reason why they probably went for the Italian sort of era and stuff,
because of all the diamantes.
Well, no,
that were
because of all
on...
the piazzas and courtyards and stuff that there is naturally in that architecture and stuff. You know what I mean? And this is a difference, but they've obviously thought about that difference, and they've not so much seen it as a problem that they're stepping away from it, but as a challenge to get round and make interesting again. And it genuinely seems like they've put a lot of thought into that as well.
And one thing I'd be interested in as well, because there was a little bit of this in Assassin's Creed 1 with like kind of the big rolling hills that you traverse across going from city to city that were largely lifted out of Assassin's Creed 2 and the other games that spawned. Is that back in? Is there now like kind of a big overmap that you navigate round, or is it still fairly compartmentalised?
Well, basically, from what we saw, there's Boston and New York are the two urban environments we saw, and I don't know if there's any more beyond that, but that seemed to be the two main two. But then there's a area of the frontier, as they called it, which is a bit of wilderness and woods in between sort of thing. But apparently about 30% of the game takes place there. Okay. And now that's where you're doing all the tree climbing and more rock climbing and stuff like that. But then there's also, it's populated with animals. And they said that they were looking to make, quote, in quote marks, magic moments with animals, which sounded a bit dodgy.
It gets
what are you
lonely
doing
out
with
there
that
in the
beer?
frontier.
We're having a magic moment, go away!
But from the sounds of it, they were very much thinking, and I don't know how much they've expanded beyond this. It seems like they're holding a few aces in their sleeves without really telling us exactly what they're doing with it. But it looks like the thunder was stolen a little bit by Red Dead Redemption, because it looked like they had this idea a bit ago and been working on it. Red Dead came out and did all the animal skinning stuff, and they're like, oh.
So kind of abstract donkey porn aside in the frontier, I mean, what other kind of new gameplay mechanics are there?
Well, I mean, one of the things that I really like the look of actually was the fact that weather plays a big part in things now. So obviously, there's a weather system which you haven't really seen so much in Assassin's Creed games before.
No, it's only for dramatic effect, wasn't it?
But then fog makes it easier for you to kind of sneak around and stuff, obviously, and stuff like that. I didn't really go too in depth with that, but that was kind of that fog, it makes it easier for you not to be seen, kind of idea. But then the one they explained a bit more was rain, yeah? And you don't think rain makes a major difference, but then you remember that all the gunplay in this is flintlock based, and so
if the gunpowder's wet, the guns don't fire.
Guns won't work in the rain.
That's pretty cool, actually. So that is properly cool.
So, in other words, all your tactics are going to have to change depending on what the weather situation is as well. Or maybe you might. I don't know how.
Can you do a rain dance?
I don't know if you can. That would be good, because it would be good to call on rain. But yeah, I mean, that's the other thing as well. It very much looks like Ben Franklin slotting into the shoes of Da Vinci as well, as your kind of companion, inventor, maker, supplier of weapons kind of idea.
Now that kind of brings me on to kind of the I know I've blathered on about this before, but having a look at your photos on your write-up on the site, which is a good read, by the way, go and look at it, listeners, BigRedBarel.com, it's on the front page. There's photos of people in red coats.
Yes.
How does all the flagrant Anglicide stack up? Is it black and white that you're the Americans and the British are bad, or is it a bit more of a blurred line between the two, because this is going to be a really tricky thing for them to pull off well on from a PR point of view in the UK.
They haven't spoken about that. Maybe they deliberately skirted around that, bearing in mind it was a Frenchman giving a talk to a load of English guys.
Right.
So he may have stayed away from that a bit. But I mean, basically, his story is about justice, they said. They said that Altair's story boiled down to duty, Ezio's to revenge, and Connor's boils down to justice. And it's kind of seeking justice for his village being invaded and burned down when he was a child. Now, I don't know...
Justice is a word usually championed by Americans for things. They go, oh, it's justice! We're getting justice for this! Justice!
Well, he's half American and half American Indian, so, I mean, I don't know exactly where his allegiances lie, and I don't know who were the instigators of the attack on his village. So
because American Indians and Americans have not had the best relationship in historical times.
Does that mean he's got, like, a little American angel on his side, an American Indian devil on his other shoulder, and having little fights with each other?
That's exactly how it works, yes. That's how genetics works,
like
John.
that, but
Definitely.
a bit less Muppets, John, I think.
But, I mean, I think it's fairly, easy to say this game looks brilliant so far, and it's not that far away. And
yeah, I mean, the Assassin's Creed series is one of my all-time favourites. It's right, I say Mass Effect and Assassin's Creed, two of my favourite series of all time. And what I love so much about the Assassin's Creed is all the backstory they've written. They've clearly, in all the previous games, they've really thought about that backstory, the whole kind of Templars versus Assassins thing. And I'm going to be really interested to see how that plays out in this. Is there multiplayer as well in AC3?
They didn't go on to talk about it, but I definitely wouldn't bet against it, basically.
Yeah. I want to be a redcoat.
Get some revenge, yeah?
I'm going to be the only redcoat on those servers, and everyone's going to stab me in the face. It's true. It's going to happen.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, come on. I'm the token posh bloke at BRB. I'm blatantly going to get some grief for this. I've got so many people sending me messages going, oh, you're a redcoat. You're going to die when Assassin's Creed 3 comes out. Good news for people who are fans of raccoons. There's a game about them.
No,
there isn't.
No, it's not about raccoons.
It is.
No.
Why is it called Raccoon City then?
Have you ever played a Resident Evil game in your life?
They tend not to make much sense, in all fairness.
Do you know
Yes.
where nearly all of them have been set?
In my game console?
They've all been set in a place called Raccoon City. Or no, they kind of go.
When they're not in Africa and things.
When they're not in Africa or in the middle of Spain.
Or in a ship.
Or on a ship.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're generally in Raccoon City.
Isn't it actually called Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City?
Operation Raccoon City.
Okay.
Because it's an operation, obviously.
Now,
in Raccoon City.
one of the things
And it's not an operation on a raccoon either, before you ask.
Anyway, I don't actually know very much about this game,
So my understanding of it was that this was much like Resident Evil Revelations on the 3DS was. This was them trying to return to the roots a little bit.
Well, no, it's not really returning to the roots. In fact, it's going in a slightly different direction. It's kind of a squad-based third-person action game. And stepping away from the kind of tank controls of Resident Evil. And to be honest, that kind of quite interested me when I first heard about it.
You say interested. Does that mean it sucks?
Distinct use of the past tense in that sentence.
Ooh. My mother said, if you can't say anything nice...
Don't say anything at all. So,
right, segment over.
Look forward to 10 minutes of silence for the rest of this segment of the podcast.
I will say that if the first level you really hate, persevere, because the second and third levels and onwards aren't as bad.
But I mean, I have to say, looking at the reviews for this game,
it doesn't start well. Let's put it that way.
It's a bit like breaking your arm. It hurts at first, and then recovery's not so bad. It's just very painful and annoying.
Once you've popped your raccoon cherry, it's not as painful anymore. Is that what you're saying?
The one thing I'll say is it's going to be best when you're playing with friends. Yeah. But
and
then you've got to find 3 friends that buy the game with you, kind of thing. But for Resident Evil fans, like for fans of the whole story and what went on in Raccoon City originally,
and shooting zombies,
blah blah blah, and shooting zombies, this is a reasonable poor man's Left 4 Dead without the humour
or the decent gunplay.
Or the good gameplay.
The gunplay is not terrible. Where it breaks down a little bit is where it starts to kind of introduce bosses that are meleeing you and you're trying to run away from them, and it's like it's borrowed mechanics from its source games without thinking, oh, they're not going to work in...
Yeah, without thinking about how to tie them together.
So is it essentially what they've done? They thought, well, this bit in this game's awesome, this bit from this game's awesome, so if we put them together, awesome plus awesome must equal awesome.
Yeah.
Is that essentially what they've done and failed miserably?
It sounds like there's no redeeming features from this, and there's almost no redeeming features.
Well, I mean, it's got panned in the press. I mean, this is a quote from IGN's review. They say an actual zombie outbreak would have been less tragic.
Like I said, there are snippets for fans that know the original games and are really into that sort of thing, which I'm not massively myself. Then there is stuff here that might add to your enjoyment of the universe and stuff. And if you can find some friends that you can play it with, then and get through the first level, which is atrocious, then you should be okay, maybe for a bit.
But then that's only if you're a Resident Evil fan who apparently, if I just did a quick Google, and apparently it's not actually part of the main story. It's just like this could have happened. Maybe.
Okay, so it's a what if type story, yeah?
Yeah.
That wasn't even made clear to me in the story.
So now nobody should ever buy it now. There we go.
But one redeeming feature, looking at the summary of it on Wikipedia, they've got some great names of people in here. Okay, so it's all about USS Delta Team, and they've got to meet up with Alpha Team Leader, and he's called Hunk.
Hunk has been a Resident Evil for a while.
And then on your security service team, you've got Vector, Bertha, who's a medic, great name. Spectre the marksman, Four Eyes the scientist, very original, well done. And Lupo, who's a team leader.
I'm sorry,
who's French.
They're not as good as the names. Do you remember the Time Crisis names?
Oh no, there's more. There's more names from the US Special Ops team. Okay, Willow, the recon expert. DA, the team leader, who I can almost guarantee would be African American, because that sounds like a particularly stereotypical name. Tweed, the demolitions expert, who I hope is sartorially well turned out. Harley the medic, Shoney the field scientist, and their sniper is called Party Girl. Seriously, can't they just get better names from these
I'm sorry,
characters?
but I want to make one point. Time Crisis is the only game series I've ever seen where there's a main character called Keith.
That is a good name for a main character. Although in Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, I was determined to get this in some way, you can name your characters. So I have a Krogan called Bob, a Drell called Clarence, and a Solarian called Fitzgerald. And those are my go-to characters.
Excellent. Right, basically, can we just sum up whether or not it's any good?
No, well, it's not. But I can tell you one thing, though. They may not have made a great game, but they put on a really good event thing the other day for this game, basically. And I'll spend a little time talking about that because it's worth talking about. What it was is basically we weren't given full details, we were given some details and stuff, but we had to download an app that we kind of took with us on our phones and stuff, and then it was kind of like it had some orienteering type stuff in it, like with a map and a compass.
Orienteering? Yay! Running about a wood in my shorts in the cold.
Urban orienteering with zombies. Now instantly much better. Especially,
okay, that does sound pretty
especially
awesome.
As you have to find your way to particular locations, find the zombies on the map where they are, and then go to them and then get the app out and zap them all. Yeah, and
was it actual people dressed as zombies?
There were, but we were shooting like digital ones on the app. But then there was people dressed as STARS agents, like at the venue to greet us before we went out, and then just generally around the city, there was like an injured STARS agent leaning up against a lamppost in the middle of the street. It was quite bizarre.
The abuse they must have gotten from random drunk people. John, this is why this event wasn't in Glasgow, by the way.
Because they would have just been like, it's just fine.
Yeah,
whatever.
you wouldn't be able to tell.
It would be like, seriously, I've been stabbed. Properly stabbed.
It's fine, you'll be alright. Just go and sit down for a minute, it's okay.
But there were actual, like, proper zombies, like, dressed up and wandering around as well. And then, like, there was a thing that we had to go and do. Now, literally, we were supposed to go and type in this code, and there was a guy dying on the floor, like, holding his guts, and, like, this doctor dude in a jacket, like, passed out and near death. And we were supposed to type in this code and then quickly get out of this room. The only problem was my party had a bit of trouble because someone in the previous party, presumably, had left caps lock on, and the code didn't work with caps lock. And then
were you in charge of putting the password in, Tim?
No, it wasn't me at all.
Because that does sound like a Tim mistake to make.
I didn't touch the keyboard whatsoever. I think I was busy filming, but we'll come to that in a minute. But then, so the guy holding his guts had to get up and like interfere with the keyboard, which he wasn't supposed to do at all, right? And basically, in the story of the thing, we nearly all died because of caps lock.
Nice.
But then we got back to the base, and there's a whole like debriefing thing, and we had to kill a load of zombies outside that were actual zombies and shoot them with guns and stuff. But it was
real zombies.
Actual real zombies.
Real
not
zombies.
Fake ones
amazing.
Not fake ones.
No,
but no. It was
not people in costumes who've been down escapade in Camden to buy some.
It was a really fun
costumes
little event. It was definitely a bit different. There was a couple of little issues with the app, but generally everything worked quite well to an enjoyable level. And it was a fun event. Like, having been to a few different events for stuff like this was, as I said, quite a good event. It did quite a good job of integrating itself with the kind of source material and making that quite fun.
So, had they only put as much love and attention into the actual game as they did the event, it might have been quite good.
Yes, generally.
Good.
But
marvellous.
Well done in the event, because that was good fun. And there should be a good funny video that we're putting together from some of the footage that I was filming at the event going up on the site later this week as well.
Lovely jubbly. Now, one thing I also like, apart from substandard games involving zombies, are peripherals that make my handheld no longer a handheld.
Yeah?
I love those.
I'll tell you what you'll love then, Captain.
Right.
Dan, you'd love getting one of those for free.
Right.
With Kid Icarus, wouldn't you?
What is this accessory? What is it?
Basically, it's a stand that you kind of...
As in, like a stand.
Yeah, a stand, as in a stand. You're on the money yet again, John.
Like a stand, in a stand you put on a table, which you rest things on.
Which you then rest your 3DS like halfway up, kind of thing, and it's...
So a games console that's designed to be carried around, you are putting on a stand on a table to play a game.
Non-portable. But, to be fair, that's something that was the only thing I criticised this game for when I saw it in preview, is that I didn't know how you were going to play it on the go. Because what you have to do is you got control of your character movement and moving and kind of dodging him out of the way with the left stick. You're firing with the left bumper type button on the left-hand side. But then all your aiming is done with the thing that I've forgotten the name of.
The screen that you can touch. The touch screen.
The touch screen, but no, what was the name I'm thinking for the pointer type thing?
Stylus.
Stylus, that's the word.
Jesus Christ.
All of that's on the stylus. And so it's a really good control method, but I couldn't see how you could comfortably carry the unit or hold the unit and play it for any length of time. That was my only problem.
So problems with you holding your unit aside. Why can't you just use the Circle Pad Pro?
Because no, it does support the Circle Pad Pro, but don't be mistaken about this. You don't need that to play the game. It won't help you play the game unless you're left-handed. That is the only thing that the Circle Pad Pro has implemented.
So it won't do like the twin stick setup.
As far as I'm aware, it doesn't.
That is dumb.
So I've got a better idea. Instead of designing a handheld game to work when the handheld console is on a stand, why not just make the game work better on a handheld?
That is possibly true, but I'm glad they didn't, because what they have done is made the best game by a considerable distance that I've played on the 3DS.
Really? Is it that good?
It is flipping phenomenal. It is great. It is brilliant. It is Panzer Dragoon Auto type thing from back in the day, Panzer Dragoon or whichever Panzer Dragoon you like, done really well. It's a really, really good shooting game. I had some issues with the ground mechanics, and they're still not perfect. They're the only things I don't like, but you do get used to them after a while, and they're not quite as annoying as they seem at the start.
So I mean, obviously Panzer Dragoon's a great game. Is it like that, where essentially it's an on-rail shooter for most of the time?
Yes, but in doing that, it takes you through a really cool journey, like through big levels and stuff. I got to one point in the game, and I don't want to spoil it too much, but I got to one point in the game and I thought it was over, and I thought I had a lot less levels than it turns out that I have now, and I'm still not at the end yet. And at that point, I thought, well, that's okay. They were quite good levels. I'll quite happily replay them again. There's a lot of replay value in going back and getting better scores with new weapons and stuff like that. And there's a really deep weapon system. Like, I'd say it's even deeper than the Mass Effect weapon system type of thing. You get to combine weapons. In combining weapons, they sometimes gain the powers of the other ones. They sometimes don't, so you have to watch what they drop and what they gain. And you can buy weapons, and there's tons of different weapons in the game. And there's about 10 different types of weapons, from like a sword to or a blade, as they call it, to different orbitars and all sorts of more funky weapons.
What the bloody hell is an orbitar?
It's where you've got
I'm not even sure what's going on
two
anymore.
orbs floating either side of you and stuff, basically, that do damage to things at distance and up close and stuff. But
so the one thing I don't quite get then, so I'm clear, very clear that the bits in mid-air are on rails. So how does it work on the ground then? Is it very different?
On the ground, as I said, at first I thought it was annoying. Now that I've got used to it, there's a couple of annoyances when it's trying to get you to do some of the more finicky controls and stuff like that. But generally, it works all right. What you're doing is you're moving and dashing and then dodging out the way with the left thumbstick. Yeah.
Okay.
You're aiming your direction and aiming with the kind of the bottom pad. But what you do is you aim your direction just by touching, and then if you want to move the direction you're facing, it's a quick swipe one way or the other.
Okay, so it's a bit like the control system they used for Metroid on the DS. There was a first FPS Metroid where it was very similar.
Okay, I didn't play that, but yeah, if that works the same, then yeah, it works the same. But as I said, with a bit of practice and stuff, that actually works quite well, to the point where I enjoy a lot of the ground sections as much as I do the air sections, apart from the odd annoyance, as I said, when it's trying to make you do a bit of platforming that doesn't really suit the gameplay so well.
And there's multiplayer as well, isn't there?
There is multiplayer, which I haven't really got stuck in yet, but that looks quite good. There's also some unique AR cards to mess around with as well. The one thing I really wasn't expecting, and the one thing that's really added to my level of enjoyment, is the scripting. I really wasn't expecting a repeatedly laugh out loud funny script. And it's very tongue-in-cheek, and it's very self-referential. They keep on talking about back in the 80s when they had a similar problem. And then when you come up against a boss that was it's kind of a remake of a boss from the original game on the NES, it comes up with the 8-bit graphics on the bottom screen to show you what he looked like and stuff like that. There's some really good lines in it, some really good humour. I literally don't want to spoil any of the lines of humour in the dialogue, because there's some really, really cracking lines, and what's the point of me telling you one of the lines that's not so good, sort of thing. But
I mean, it from kind of the press, it's been getting great reviews. I mean, kind of people who are notoriously hard for getting good reviews out of. Edge gave it an 8 out of 10. Famitsu gave it a 40
Sorry,
out of 40.
hold on. Edge and Famitsu, two magazines pretty much renowned for just loving anything remotely Nintendo shaped or Japanese, have given that game a good score.
No, Edge is a bit... No, Famitsu, fair enough. But Famitsu is... they're still difficult to get a 40 out of 40 for. Come on.
they're still rare.
Okay, but what about Edge?
Edge, I think they... I'm going to have to look now.
Hey, look, a Mario game came out. It's the best game ever.
They're still pretty tough on their reviews.
This is the magazine that reviewed Zelda Skyward Sword and gave 2 paragraphs to, if you swing your Wii remote, Link moves his sword like you moved the Wii remote. Wow.
Actually, in all fairness, of their 100 best video games ever, this is admittedly from 2007. Number 1 is Zelda. Number 3 is Super Mario. Number 5 is Super Mario. Number 6 is A Link to the Past, which is Zelda. Number 8 is Final Fantasy 12.
I'm sure there's quite a few gamers that wouldn't disagree. I'm not one of them, I'd have to say.
I rest my case. Anyway, the game, from what we are hearing, is good, essentially.
It's better than good. As I said, I've been a real big fan of my 3DS. I haven't played it so much in the last couple of weeks, just through being busy and stuff. I'd kind of dug it out, blew off the cobwebs and stuck this in, and I'm so glad I did, because it is a brilliant game. And as I said, it's not a portable game at all. Don't get it if you need to play it portable. I do most of my 3DS gaming at home anyway. So yeah, this was really, really good.
And does the stand work or not? Is it completely necessary?
No, that's the other thing. Like, I can see me using the stand with other games as well. I mean, it's going to be for maybe not suitable for every game, basically, but it's a handy thing to have as well. So it's quite a nice little piece of kit.
Well,
so
I guess when it comes to like really cupbersome handheld controls,
Cupbersome?
I'll try that again.
That's not a bloody word.
I guess when it comes to really cumbersome handheld controls, I'm glad to see Nintendo taking a stand on this.
John, have you got autocorrect in your brain? Does it like correct what you're trying to say, but sometimes cock it up in a way that gets you into trouble?
I had a good pun there, and you ruined it.
Right, that music means that thing again, which that music means.
Intros. They always tell us so much information.
It's a great British debate. And shut up, Dan, it's a great British debate.
Basically, that thing means something that basically things are going to happen, basically.
And we got all worked up about this stand thing that came with the 3DS.
Do you know what? I won't
stand
Icarus, for it.
And you're not standing for it, even though you are standing for it in a minute, but hey. But we thought it was a good time to have a debate, and because I'm the only one that's informed about it, we thought I wouldn't take part in that debate, because, that would be silly. We don't want to break a habit of a lifetime and have informed people deciding things on the Great British Debate. So, we want to know, is it stupid for games to be packaged with an accessory that completely defeats the point of it being a handheld? And you can tell that question was written by Dan because it's overly wordy.
Okay, try and word that in a different way then. Huh, Tim?
Stupid game packaged accessory defeats point of handheld. There you go.
Go toilet!
Anyway, right.
No time to speak,
no time to speak. Or think, or
Tim
do anything.
Angry.
We should really tell everybody about the fact that we had to email, because we talked about the BAFTAs on last week's episode, we had to email the guys at BAFTA with the episode itself saying, here is our new episode called I Have to Toilet.
Yep.
Yeah, I had to write that email and try and remain looking professional with an episode called... Oh, yeah.
Well, in all fairness, the MP3 was just called BRB UK episode -06, so you could have just sent them the
but
MP3.
I emailed them the link, which meant, anyway.
Burke. You utter Burke.
Anyway,
but that was a proud moment for me in podcasting that we had to send a show called that to BAFTA.
I think we have a debate to do, don't we, Tim?
We do.
Yes. Dan, you have 30 seconds.
Yep.
What's he doing again?
I'm arguing that it is indeed stupid for games to be packaged with an accessory that completely defeat the point of it being on a handheld.
We are so on the ball here.
Yes. Right, Dan, when you are ready, you have 30 seconds to argue your case, starting from now.
Let's face it, opposable thumbs are only going to get you so far in this day and age, and games are evolving at such a rate that we need new, innovative input methods that our stock hands just can't deal with especially well. Why let a fantastic game be limited by, control nuances that, unless you do something completely different, you're not going to be able to get around? You can't change the shape of a console, so why not just have an accessory that allows gamers to enjoy it to its fullest? There's nothing wrong with that.
Do you know why, Dan? Because you've just argued the wrong end of the argument because of your stupid, long-worded question.
No, he hasn't.
I said no, it wasn't. I said it was a good thing.
Yes, and the question was, is it stupid? And you said, and you were arguing yes.
Ah, yes, so you have to argue the opposite of what I was saying.
Best Great British Debate fail ever.
A man who can't even follow his own argument or question.
Yep.
And seems to be arguing that we should go for other control method other than thumbs.
Yes, like faces. You should control things with your face.
John, the only way I can see you losing this argument is if you repeatedly smash your head against the microphone for 30 seconds.
I think I could do that.
Yeah.
Do it.
You have 30 seconds on him now.
Anyway, I have 25 seconds to make a point now, so here it goes. There is no point in, for example, designing a handheld console and then giving you a fucking stand to put it on. Why would you want to do that? Nor would you want to play a game... You wouldn't want to play a game on a handheld, which makes it impossible for the game to be carried around. It's ruining the point of portability. Games are already becoming less portable as it is. The last thing you want to do is give yourself something stupid that defeats the point of a handheld. It's stupid.
Stop, probably.
Actually, Tim, I've got a genuine question. You strike me as a man who likes playing games when he has to toilet.
I didn't strike you as a man, I struck you as a woman.
What?
I don't know. I didn't remember striking you in the first place.
What? Okay. But you strike me... Okay, to me, you seem like a person, is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, who enjoys gaming while
I do seem like a
he
person.
has to toilet, okay?
No, I don't
Right.
actually. I never, no.
You've never gamed whilst on the bog?
Other than Game Dev Story, no.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I was going to ask how the stand works when you're perched on the throne.
It doesn't. I just wait, go to the toilet, come back and carry on gaming, like most
So you're a master of the turbo turd, are you? It's like in and out, like the SAS.
Yeah, well, see, I guess that might be different if I gamed at work more, but I tend not to. So,
Yeah, all right.
you know,
Well, fine. I enjoy gaming on the bog, but there we go.
I enjoy going to the toilet on the toilet.
But it allows you to, it's one of the few bits of quiet time you get.
I get quiet time wherever I go.
Is that just because you just ignore everybody and everything? And it's
No, that's
Yeah,
because I
pretty
just
much.
keep on talking till everyone shuts up.
Yeah, all right. Talking of which, who won?
God, that was a disaster.
Yeah, who won? I'm assuming it wasn't me.
You're not kidding. You argued the wrong thing and then said we shouldn't have thumbs. You lose.
Oh, that was my favourite argument I've ever made. That was brilliant. Anyway,
Let's get on with the iTunes reviews so we can ignore the toaster.
yeah. So it's time to say thank you to a couple of people who've been kind enough to leave us comments on either the iTunes or the forum. So I'm going to ignore the toaster and would like
don't
to
thank
say
the toaster this week, or don't even mention him because that'll be just like
no,
not
it will just
ignoring
fuel
him.
his ego even more. So I would just like to say thank you to the Phenomenal C, who has shouted from the rooftops that BRB UK is the best show on BRB that isn't about films or from the States.
I don't think many people can disagree with that.
No, I can't disagree with that.
I would say that we are not the best show unless we are not them.
Thanks for that. That's good clarification in a non-clarifying at all manner.
As always, really glad to show up to these little shindigs we have every single week.
Shame you didn't bring your brain.
Yeah. Anyway, John, say thank you to people from the forums.
I would like to thank Aussie Asman,
God.
He did actually leave his brain at home.
Darius.
Darius.
I've seen
That's
my
not
fair share
Darius.
of
That is
zombies.
Darius.
I've seen my fair share of zombies this week, Dave. Dave? I've called you the wrong name. It's obviously getting infected. It's
I would like to
spreading.
thank a typo of Darius. It's probably Dan's fault. And Davy and G.
I guess I'll thank Thixty, Danches, Matt Corn, and Tardy Moments, maybe?
Yeah. Dan Ches, my Mexican cousin. Hello, sir. Wouldn't that be awesome? Wouldn't that be brilliant if you just turn into a Mexican if you just put Ches after your name? You'd be like, Tim Ches! And you'd be John Ches, which is marginally less idiotic than John Fake.
No,
I think
it's not more idiotic
No.
than
All right,
Fake.
okay. So anyway, this episode was brought to you by stupidity, ladies and gentlemen.
Brain dead zombies.
And we probably ought to get out of here before I offend anybody else, because I've gone over my quota for this week.
Yeah, I'm not sure you could offend anyone else if you tried, so we'll call it a day there, eh?
All right, fair enough. So I've been Dan.
I might have been Tim.
How could you manage to spell Darius wrong?
Shut up, John Ches.
That's not the worst thing he's done this episode.
We've had Gippo Manor, John Ches. What else have I done?
No, let's not review the situation.
Okay,
Let's
all
just
right,
hope
fair
that people come
Let's
back
just
next week
leave
and-
before we offend anybody else.
And on that note, we've got some awesome content hitting the front page of the site this week. And in case you haven't checked out the other awesome podcasts we do, BRB Boom, The PlayStation Show, and BRB Flicks, come check them all out.
And we will be giving away some awesome stuff on the website this week, such as a Mass Effect 3 Vault. So do keep your eyes peeled to the front page of BigRedBarel.com and say hello to us while you're there. Why not? That's what I say. So, that has been a show. I can only apologise that I've just been me.
Yeah, and if you're Mexican, like, send all your complaints at Gippo Manor, for crying out loud. Jeez.
Yeah, absolutely. To be parked alongside the A34 this week is where I'm citing the manor.
Hey, mate, there's a couple of games shops you could park yourself out. And
Ooh, that's a good idea, actually.
There you go,
That's a
there you
good
go.
idea.
You could probably just buy one for about 50p these days.
So anyway, that's been a show. So until next time, dear listeners, toodle bye.
You and your ears are quite welcome for the podcasting goodness that you just heard. why not roll on over to BigRedBarel.com for more podcasts, news, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet, BigRedBarel.com.